Hi everybody. I want to start with the example related to the hypothesis testing. If you remember, we were already calculating the hypothesis by first writing our null hypothesis and then alternative hypothesis. And then in a step 2, we were assuming that our null hypothesis is true. And then we were calculating the standard deviation for all the samples. And then we were in a step 3 using the Excel for calculating the probability associated with null hypothesis. If that probability was very low, we were rejecting the null hypothesis. But today I'm going to teach you how in Excel we can use the hypothesis testing. So first of all, let me start with this example. We have the exam score. So here's the exam score, several grade we have here. And then the question is asking us test to determine if the average of the exam score is higher than 230, assuming that significant value is 0.05, which means they are telling us we want to see that average of the exam score is higher than 230, and we want to be 95% sure, confident that this result is correct. That means the average is higher than 230. So remember, significant value was opposite of the confidence value, confidence interval. Remember, when we are saying that significant value is 0.05, that means we are having the confidence level of 0.95 or 95%. So now I want to test to see if this claim is correct or not. First of all, in the first step, I need to write my null hypothesis and my alternative hypothesis. So in null hypothesis, I would say average of scores is higher than 230. And alternative hypothesis, I would say average of a score is lower than or equal to 230, right? So now next step is I need to go to the data, see here, and data analysis. So here is the point. Some of you may not have the data analysis tools, so make sure that you have that. And if you don't find it, later on Monday, we are going to check and find this data analysis. There is two ways. If you have a Windows, you can go to File, and then More, Option, and then you go to Add-ins, and then here in Excel add-ins, you go to Go, and then you would check the analysis tool pack, and then, okay, so it will appear here. But if you have Mac, you have the analysis tool pack in your data section. Click on that, and then check the data analysis, and then you would have the data analysis here. So now, second step. And now I have the data analysis. I'm going to go in there, and then I'm going to choose t-test two sample, assuming unequal variance. So make sure that you are choosing t-test two sample, assuming unequal variance. Hit the OK, and then I need to have two variables, variable 1 range, variable 2 range, right? Because I said two sample. But remember, we had just one sample here, one score here, right? Exam score here. So I'm going to cancel this, and then I'm going to fool the Excel by having a column calling it dummy, and then just putting some zero here, to build my second sample that is basically not a sample because I put everything zero in it, right? But I want to just fool the Excel. I have to make this second sample. So now I have two samples. One of them is having the exam score, and the other is just a dummy sample that I wanted to fool Excel with. Again, I use t-test to sample, assuming unequal variance with the OK. And then for the variable 1 range, I choose all the exam score, including the title. And then for variable 2 range, I choose all of them, including the title, right? Including the title. And then because I chose the label, I check the label here. And then I have here says hypothesized mean difference. So for these, I need to put the number that was in the question. Why? Because it's saying that what is the difference between what you would claim and then the difference of this sample. So if one of my sample had everything equal to 0, the average of zeros would be 0, right? So therefore, 230 minus 0 is 230, right? The mean differences, so 230. Alpha or significant value is here, 0.05, I put it here. So now here, I can say, I can choose output range, which I can choose any cell, for example, here, I chose that. Some of you may want to have a new worksheet, and then it would produce a new sheet for you and give the answer. Some of you even want to open the Excel file. I prefer always to choose a sheet, any cell in the sheet that I'm working on that, right? So now I'm done. I choose everything. I just hit OK. So when I hit OK, automatically this table is produced. Before even I read any numbers in this table, I'm going to right click on that and then format cell number, and I just choose 2 decimal, okay? So now it's nicer. So here, I'm gonna check that what type of information I have. First of all, it calculates for me that the mean of the data that I had was 215.36, so it's less than 230. And then second of all, this is the variance, and I had 58 observations. And now what I'm gonna check is p-value t-test for two-tail. This is what I'm gonna check. I'm gonna highlight that. And then is 0, 0. So what I need to do is I find the probability associated with this two-tail and then compare it with the significant value. If this probability is 0.00 is smaller than 0.05, then I should reject the null hypothesis. So yes, 0, 0 was smaller than 0.05, and I'm gonna make this very clear, and then is smaller than 0.05, therefore I reject the null hypothesis, okay? So that was all that we need to do, as easy as that. And then I just want you basically to do this table, produce this table for yourself several times, and then we would have the class work on Monday that we can work on that more in detail, okay? That was all for today. Thank you all.